I don't know the last time I was afraid to do something, so this is probably really fucking good. Getting a little emotional. Like this is I don't know the last time I dared do this.
Was that your stomach?
It's my stomach.
You're like in the middle of this,
my whole body
you're
is
in the
like,
middle of this, like, dude, how are you supposed to get, like, you just got to dream and dare to do big, and you just,
Hello. What's up? My name is Marcel.
I'm Daniel.
I really was hoping you would jump onto
I had to
that
think
one.
about that for a second. I was like, I don't know if he's going to run with it or if I have to jump in, but
We'll get the flow down eventually, I think.
we're trying.
But welcome to our podcast. We decided to call it...
We're trying, dude. I'm trying, dude. That's
Immediately wrong.
Immediately
Fantastic.
wrong. Well, I'm trying, dude.
You are trying.
That's the name of the podcast. How did
That
you?
is the name of the podcast.
Which you sent me, or you called me.
Yeah, yesterday
with,
we had that
with
conversation.
how you came up with the name, or
Yes,
how
it came up.
How it came-
really.
yeah.
Yeah. So
because I love it. I think it's
yeah,
great.
it's wonderful. So I had a conversation with our joint friend Jolie, who we got really deep, and it was about some of the new societal changes and him messing up. And he was like, but I'm trying, and I felt that in that moment. And we had talked about the podcast a little bit about what this is going to be about, and I felt like the word trying was really good for us.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you want to get into a little bit of what we're trying to do with this.
No, yeah. I mean, I think. Look, we're truly just trying to make a podcast. Like we're trying our best
yeah.
here.
Oh, I like
you
that.
know,
I
and
haven't
I
even
think
said that yet.
that was like a thread that we liked was just a couple of dudes doing their best, trying their best, but also enjoying the process of trying. You know, it's
Right.
like you're not going to get it right 100% of the time. I don't know. There's something like so organic and nice about it that I really enjoyed. Like the idea of like, hey, like at the end of the day, we're all just trying, and I don't know, you're my
Yeah.
dude. So
No, hell yeah. No, absolutely. Like, look. I think. Our idea is it with this podcast, and for those of you that signed up to the email list, and if you haven't yet, you can sign up to our email list. You get a link to our episode 0. This is us sitting on a different couch, ironically, because we just got this new couch.
OG couch.
The one-time couch.
Yeah.
That's us literally just figuring out what this is going to be. But to drill it down a little bit, it's just this is going to be a mix of a lighthearted conversation, the two idiots that Daniel and I are.
Absolutely.
Mixed with the wisdom that we've come by throughout our lives, through experiences and through stories and through therapy and other things, to essentially drill down on the point of like where masculinity and modern masculinity, I want to throw in there, meets vulnerability, failure, trauma, fears, how to deal with them, how to overcome them, and really just to talk about a lot of the shit that guys nowadays, I think we've opened up a lot more. I think guys
Absolutely.
overall, like we're in touch with our emotions, like and shit. But there's still so much that dudes don't talk about.
Yeah. But
And-
also not being like so like wah wah the whole time, you know? It's definitely lighthearted, like, you know, I'm not trying to be depresso.
No, but
over here,
that's actually the point, right? Like I listened to so many podcasts back when, and I was like,
Yeah.
every time I listen to a podcast, I'm like, fuck, I got to do all this shit now again.
Absolutely.
It's like this weight that you put on your own shoulders. Like, nah, man, you're trying.
there it is.
You're trying to do your best, and you pick out what works for you, and you don't what doesn't, and hopefully you'll do the same with this podcast.
Absolutely. Dude, it's also been, what, like a week and a half since I saw you?
2, and I've missed you so much.
I know. Dude, crazy when you start missing your boys. You're like I was out in Poland and was walking around. I was like, man, I miss my dog. I miss my girlfriend. I was like, I kind of miss Marcel, too. This is fun.
I miss my dog.
Yeah, I
You're
miss my dogs. Dude,
Yeah.
you were out in the Hamptons, right?
I was out in the Hamptons.
What was that for? How long were you out there? Give me the.
I was out there for
I haven't seen you
for
since.
like a long weekend. And by the way, we'll get to intros. Like for those of you that don't know at all who either Dan or I are, we'll run through that a little later in the episode. I was in the Hamptons for the Hamptons International Film Festival.
Dope.
HIF. As
HIF.
It's a cool name. HIF. What are you doing this weekend? HIF.
Yeah.
Like,
Go on a HIF.
Go on a HIF.
Okay.
Like, you sound rich. Did not have to pay. Was wonderful.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And the food tasted better too.
Yeah.
no, it's actually, believe it or not, really bad.
Yeah, no, it's great food out there. So what it is a film festival, and it's a feature-length film festival. So there was it was big movies. There's Angelina Jolie's new movie that's coming out, Maria, which is a opera singer, Italian opera singer, very tragic story, who loses her voice and like her struggles with that, and how she kind of goes like schizophrenic almost, and like dependent on pills. She's a pill popper.
Damn.
Everybody, she's a pill popper.
Anything-
And ironically, that was one of the lighter pieces, believe it or not. That was
Really?
like easy viewing because it was just gorgeous cinematography.
Yeah.
Another documentary that we watched was Sorosi. I can't remember her name for the life of me. Sorosi versus Texas. The after Texas introduced the anti-abortion law, a woman that had to get an abortion for medical reasons, was denied one, and then lost her baby and her fertility.
Oh my God.
And that turned like into a whole thing.
There's a,
which
there's
I don't.
a movie about this?
There's a documentary about. Honestly, big moving piece. I think everybody should go and see it because it's so tough to watch, but so important. I'm not gonna get into that because that's too heavy for episode 1.
Yeah.
It's just really tough. But what was so crazy about that was we watched this, and then we're all like, fucking like heartbroken and walking out, and then there was like a Trump parade like down the street.
Oh, man.
The Hamptons is a weird place. Literally like 50 trucks with grab him by the pussy just on the side of the
man.
truck. Like
Well,
you need.
Everyone walks out of the theater crying. Like, that's so bad.
So weird.
Traveling to a
is
full
weird,
parade.
dude. I mean, culture shock, but like,
Yeah.
dude, culture shock. You
Me.
went to Poland for the
I
first
was
time.
in Poland for the first
How the
time
fuck was
ever.
that?
Dude, that was so cool.
I know that you have so many stories to tell me, and I'm excited because we've now made it a point not to talk to each other.
Yeah,
outside
which
the
is very
podcast, which
tough.
is sad.
That's tough.
We should not do that.
I'll be like, hey, dude, how you doing? He's like, shut up.
Don't tell
Don't
me.
talk to me.
Not another word,
Not until
bitch.
we get in front of these cameras. No, dude, Poland was awesome, and it's cool. I never if anyone asked me, dude, give me your top 3 places you want to travel. Poland was not on that list at all. It never crossed my mind that Poland was a place I was like, oh, I need to go visit.
Right.
Got there, and it was awesome, so cool, just gorgeous, and I didn't even see that much.
You
but
were
I
in
think-
Warsaw, right?
I was in Warsaw, and it was awesome shooting a commercial, which is like
Hell yeah.
mind blowing to be able to say that out loud. That's crazy.
So why were you there for a whole week? Did you shoot the whole time?
No. So we got in on Monday evening, went to the hotel, kind of checked in, and then we had, one day was a fitting to make sure
Okay.
the clothes fit, to
Right.
agree on wardrobe. And then the subsequent 4 days were video, and then there was 1 day of photo, and then Sunday was a travel day back. Craziest
Easy.
part was that of those 4 days, they only needed me for 1 initially. So they were like, look, you have the fitting, and then one of these days you're going to have to shoot. So the other days you kind of just, figure it out. And I was like, wait a second. You got me out here to Poland, and you're only using me for like a day? Like, what am I going to do?
See, this is something I never understood. Why won't they just fly you out a little later then?
Oh, no, I mean, dude, the whole commercial world, for anyone who ever wants to get into acting and commercials and stuff, it's basically a huge game of hurry up and wait. You can be doing a commercial for a full day shoot, be in front of the camera for 10 minutes, that's what they'll shoot you for, but be in the actual studio and have your full day there. Just because that's they want everybody there in the same place. It's interesting.
Damn.
But I ended up having
we want you to be part of this.
Yeah,
We were very inclusive.
you're here now, and
You were ours.
buckle up.
We paid for you.
But it's crazy. Some of those, you'll bring a laptop or an iPad or something, and you could just sit for a full day and go through emails, read a book, and they'll only use you for a half hour, and that's just the day, and it's it's cool.
I guess that's what you know about actors too, when they're hanging out in their trailer, just waiting for their scene to come.
Literally,
Right?
because there's so much preparation that goes on behind the scenes for lighting.
So you're
sound.
famous.
No.
Okay, all right, cool.
cool.
You,
Very
you painted the picture, and
Yes.
you had a city, beautiful, right? I've never
beautiful
been.
city, very clean. One of the things that was funny I wanted to bring up was that on these days off, I would kind of just meander. I am not a planner by any means. I am not okay, I'm going to Poland or Warsaw. I've got to look up all the museums. I got to see whatever.
Yeah.
I need to make an itinerary for myself. I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm very much let the spirit take me. I will.
Jesus take the wheel.
Jesus take the wheel.
Jesus.
I'll wake up and I'll just kind of see what sounds good, and I'll go and meander and figure it out.
Right.
Or I'll ask recommendations or whatever. As I was meandering around the city.
Say meander one more time. I dare
Yeah,
you.
Let's show you.
No.
As I was gallivanting around the city.
Wow, I like that much better.
Thanks.
What an eloquent gentleman.
So I'm walking around the city, and I'm realizing that when the light turns red, as the crosswalk sign turns red, people will stop on the sidewalk,
Right.
and they won't cross the sidewalk.
Right.
Even if
There's no car.
no cars coming. So I'm day one, walking, and I'm oh, the red sign, okay. And there's groups of people on both sides.
Right.
And I'm
the
guys,
fuck's this car, bro?
what are we waiting for? Like, does no one have anywhere to be?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, fuck you guys, I'm crossing,
Yeah.
you know? And then it didn't hit me till later. I was like, maybe
You're the American asshole.
the whole point is to, like, just slow down a little bit. Like,
oh, interesting.
you know, like I mean, and again, maybe this could be me
I love
looking
that.
deeper into it, but like I had to physically hold myself back at times
Yeah.
from crossing the street and be like, I'm getting to my next destination. I'm going. I got to be in go mode. Like, you know, the New Yorker in me is like, I got to go. You know, it doesn't
Right.
matter. If there's nothing
Yeah.
coming, I'm there.
Dude, for sure.
And it was so cool and like hard at first to not cross the street. And it might sound stupid, but I think it was like, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
It's okay. And no one else was like, I'm sure they've got, you know, and it's like rush hour, people are heading to work and stuff. But when the light turns red and, you know, you're like, they're just chilling there, waiting for the light to turn green. No cars coming. They're just, you know, and it's like.
Dude, I mean, look, I'm European, right? I'm German born and raised, for
Absolutely.
those of you that don't know. So I know this. I've actually gotten, like, I was in a smaller city, I'm going to call it, almost a village, right? Like a smaller thing. In the middle of, like, a pedestrian area, red light, only one other person there was like an elderly woman.
Yeah.
I walked across it because I was like, I gotta go, and this is when I wasn't even Americanized yet. I walked across. I'm like, I gotta go, and she yelled at me.
Really?
Like that's Germany. There's the other extreme to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
No, but I think you're absolutely right. For one, I think signs are what you want them to be. So like, if you think that means you should slow down, you should probably slow down because
Yeah.
that's what you thought.
Absolutely.
Like as its own thing. But yeah, Europe is way slower. Europe is so much more purposeful still, I think, in the way people live life.
Yeah.
It's
It
like-
was great.
Yeah, and even just the rushing to work, like people are going to work, people aren't rushing to work.
Right.
I thought about this today. I forget where, but this it almost becomes a game as a New Yorker to be as efficient as possible. Like how many meetings can you fit in with like a second to spare? I'd rather be like 2 to 5 minutes late and have rushed there
Yeah.
than have had one less meeting. Like I think that's what I used to kind of thrive on, is this high of like, look at like fucking I'm so fast, I'm so good, I'm so efficient at doing all this shit. Like, and that was in my head myself. I was like, yeah, you're cool.
Yeah. I feel
Europe
the same
will
way.
undo that a little bit. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, actually crazy how
Well,
much of a
sometimes
step
you do
back.
have to rush nonetheless, though. So
For sure, but no,
because like,
I
like
align
when you have
with
to go
that,
to the
though.
bathroom.
Yeah, dude. I didn't tell you that. I think you saw it in
I
my
saw that a
notes.
little bit.
I was walking back from there's a spot in Warsaw called Oldtown. And
Most European cities have old
yeah,
towns.
it's like an old town. Which again, like, so I am so ignorant. I did not like. I'm like Old Town. Well, a lot of it, you know, in World War II, a lot of the stuff was wiped out, and it's like that's like where a lot of the
So not fun.
OG like, you know, architecture and stuff is. So Old
Like
Town's beautiful.
hundreds of years old,
Yeah, and I'm
older
like,
than
that's
America is.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
so
wild.
you know, so I'm, you know, walking around there shopping, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pee really bad, like really bad. But the stores are closing. I'm like, I'm trying to find like souvenirs and like tchotchkes and stuff.
Tchotchkes?
Yeah, like little, you know, little,
Wow.
yeah, for my dog and my
Nice.
girlfriend.
You didn't bring me anything?
I know. I felt
come
bad.
on,
I shouldn't have
fuck
said
right up.
anything.
All right.
I brought these stories,
You walked around?
and I'm like, I gotta pee real bad.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. And Old Town's like a 20-minute walk from the hotel. So I'm like, okay, like I don't have to pee like super bad. Like I want to hit these stores and see what I can find, and then make my way back. So, you know, stores start closing. I'm like, and it's getting to like threat level, like orange. Yeah,
Oh,
you know, I'm like, all right, we got to go. You know, so I starting to hoof it back to the hotel with a purpose. Like the New Yorker in me is coming out, and even if the sign's red, I'm blowing past. We're going. By the time I get back to the hotel, I'm like dancing. I'm like, oh my god, because you know
The pee-pee
like,
dance. No,
dude,
I get it, of
Yeah, the
course.
pee-pee dance,
Yeah.
and like also just I think there's a part of your brain where it's like when you get back to where you are familiar with, like your home base, or like
It's
you know, when, like you have to pee or
crazy.
take a dump, and you like see a toilet, and you're like,
It's
oh,
oh
like
my God.
immediately your whole body's
Why
like, we're
is
good.
that?
Like
yeah. Like if you didn't have another option for an hour, you could easily hold
Yeah.
it. Like it would be painful, but not that.
Yeah, like the minute
yeah.
you see it, or it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's right upstairs.
Yeah,
Your body's
yeah.
like, all right, we're evacing. We're evacing now. You know,
Everybody,
I'm in the hotel, and I'm in the elevator, hand on my crotch, just like white knuckling,
Squeezing that snake,
white
yeah.
knuckling, just like, oh my god. And I'm like hopping down, and doors open, and I'm like, now I'm waddling, like trying to power move, and and I ended up pissing myself like a little bit, just a tiny like a, you know, because I'm squeezing so hard. I'm feeling it like every muscle's contracted.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little like,
Like a little squirt gun.
just a little squirt gun. Yeah. Just like a little, you know. And I like tense right back. I was like, no.
I shall not succumb to this
I'm
today.
so close.
Yeah.
And it was just enough to take the edge off. It was great.
nice.
I made it. I ended up making.
Awesome.
I threw the door open, like just. I think I peed with all the lights off too. I didn't even have like the wherewithal
Dude, I
to
love
turn a
peeing in
light
the dark.
on. I was just
No,
like,
no, yeah.
I was like, oh my god!
I can spray the bathroom.
Yeah. It's 360ing all over the place. It was crazy.
It's a hotel, man.
Yeah,
you don't have to clean it up.
I don't pay
That's
for
great.
it. That's fine.
Do you ever have you ever done that? So like you were still holding it, also like your blood. Like I've gotten to a point where I literally just relied on, like I would just let go, but just rely on my hand to like squeeze it shut.
Yeah, that's where I was at. Yeah.
That's like, I mean, that feels really weird. That's like a whole new level of trust that you have got to build up with yourself and your two fingers. Like it was like
Two fingers, dude. You're an animal. If you got 2 fingers, I was using all
because
five.
I'm working on the precision. I'm clamping it right. You know what I mean? Like that.
Okay.
It's not like
I was going for
do
quantity
this-
over quality.
yeah,
I was
no,
like,
no,
we
no,
just
if I-
gotta mash this
Yeah.
whole thing and hope nothing comes out.
So now that everybody's thinking about our dicks in
Yeah,
our hands,
anyway. Tell me about how you got into all this. Like, true. Like, I know. I feel like I don't know everything about your backstory and how you.
shit.
Well, no, I mean, like I
No,
know
yeah.
you. You know, obviously,
Yeah.
and I've known you in the biblical sense, but I.
more than once, my friend.
I get it.
Yeah, right.
No, dude, I want to hear more about like how you got where you are. Like you know, were you always this like, I want to do fashion, menswear, like, influencing, blogging, creating content to help people? Like, was that
Yeah.
always your MO, or like how did you give me like the rundown of how you got
Marcel 101.
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
the basics.
Yeah.
You want the cover text on the
Absolutely.
book of Marcel.
Yes.
Volume 1. Got it. So I for those of you that listened to episode 0 prior to listening to this, I got into this a little bit. A lot of it's trauma.
Okay.
A lot of it's you know, I mean, we grow up and we have all these different ideas and things that we think we need to be and want to be and whatnot. But it started with me being a super insecure teenager, as we all are. I think at some point, like no one's fucking a teenager and being like, I'm the fucking shit and like I know who I am. That doesn't. I think that's just not. That's a human experience to like figure out who you are and being insecure. Maybe there's got to be exceptions to the rule. But I had a lot of friends, but not really, because I was trying to please everyone, but it felt like no one really got me. So whenever I say like, oh, I didn't have a lot of friends when I grew up, my friends would disagree. They're like, you were friends with everyone, but I think for a long time it felt like I was not really friends with anyone, right?
Yep. Sorry, I was making a note.
Yeah. So there's that. Then I started dressing better, which helped me feel better about myself.
Why?
So like,
Was there like an impetus to that, or you're just like, I want
because
to?
I feel like the people that I wasn't friends with yet that I thought were cool would look at me a little differently. I would get compliments from people. I felt like people noticed me more. People like, and it felt like it was more. I was starting to be more me. That's something I was doing that was me that people kind of fucked with. And I thought that was cool. So like, you know, color coordination was something I always did. I went crazy, dude. I was wearing silver baggy pants. I had baby blue Tims. I wore, there's this one photo, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'll blend it in right now. There's this one photo of me wearing purple baggy jeans tucked into black Ugg boots.
Wait, what?
With a tank top and a leather jacket and a thin scarf around my neck with a really weird pose on train tracks. I was modeling before you knew what modeling was, my friend. I defined an era.
I can't wait to
Fucking
see this
horrid.
photo.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
As you're describing, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse. And you know what? It lives up to it. I'm not even overdoing it. So I started doing that. Then I started. I'm going to fast forward a little bit now because I think you know, a lot of our backstory is going to come through in the podcast.
Absolutely.
We'll reference it for different things. But I started dancing at some. I played soccer for German, born and raised. Like that's what we do. We play soccer. Mm-hmm. Then I started dancing, and that weirdly both things alienated me from like my friends at school a little bit. Like there was always like different Marcels that I had to be. But the taking another note, I see. But then through dance, that's where the first time I felt like I actually met my crowd, like creative people that were truly themselves, like where I met my first gay friends. And I say this a lot about my gay friends. Like they're so many of them have spent so long in a closet not being who they truly are that once they come out, they're just themselves in this beautiful, inspirational way. And I think that is a very early impact on me to just be myself and like, fuck what others think. Literally,
Right.
they would get hate from people on the street just for being gay, like just for being who they are. And I'm like, what? I'm worried about like not getting weird looks because I'm dressing a little bit differently. Like, suck it up, Marcel. Like, you can fucking do this. If they can do it, you can do it. So like, huge shout out to my homies from the LGBTQ IA plus community. Back then, just a G. Well, I mean, I just had gay friends. That's just like I wasn't around any of the other letters. Dancing brought me to New York. In New York, I was like, fuck, I don't know what I want to do. So after high school, I actually did a dance program for 2 years.
What kind of dance?
Everything: tap, jazz, ballet, modern, hip hop,
shit.
Contemporary. I did it all. It started with ballroom, then went into hip hop, and then through hip hop went into everything else. I kind of wanted to get like a whole idea of what dance was.
Absolutely.
I worked as a promoter in a club, as in like a club hired me to just dance at the club, so other people would dance too.
Really?
Yes. Funnest job
Were
fucking ever.
you in a cage or were you
no, like on not a cage.
on one of those hoops?
There was fire and dragons. But it was amazing. I got paid to go clubbing.
That's
wasn't allowed
awesome.
to drink though, so that sucked back then. I was a background dancer. I was in a musical. So I've done a lot of dancey things. But then I went to New York to like study dance here. Fell in love with the city. I was like, I don't want to dance. I think that's not like the main thing I'm supposed to do. What do I like? I like fashion. I like numbers. Like I've always liked numbers and like psychology, which is a large part of the reason why we're sitting here. So I tried to combine those into one thing, and I came up with fashion marketing, because marketing kind of combines numbers and psychology, and fashion is the fashion bit, the creative bit. Googled FIT, got into this, learned about fashion. Fashion merchandising management is what I learned, so like fashion marketing.
How long is the program?
4 years in America, like for the bachelor. Did it in 3.5 because I'm super, super smart. No, American school system is just way too easy. Plus, I went to art school, not smart school, so it was like even easier. No, and then while I was there, was exposed to the idea of blogging back when. So like some of the very first people that did this. My girlfriend at the time was the one who taught me how to use a camera proper. One of my best friend was already an established blogger. So I saw the business side, I saw the creative side, put them together, started doing this, and I've been doing it for fucking 11 years. So it started with me trying to fit in.
Wow.
Trying to feel better about myself. And I've said this in a lot of interviews early on, where it's like fashion to me, or clothing to me, is like an emotional armor. Like something that you put on to protect yourself, is what I thought, rather than express yourself, which is now what I believe. So I think the term is not quite as adequate anymore. But that's kind of how I got here, and there's a lot of bits that I left out in terms of, you know, the fears that I had coming to another country, leaving my friends and family behind, how to find new friends, how I finally actually made some friends, people that truly understood me, and up until last year, and the process still ongoing of finding myself who I actually am and allowing myself to be myself. So there's so much more, but this should suffice as like that's it.
So cool.
But
the whole dance bit is very, very cool.
It's unique in a way, right? Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You don't really post about that or like talk about it much now?
So I suffer from imposter syndrome a lot. So like I wouldn't have never started a blog if I wasn't going to school to like learn about it. I felt like that's what gave me the right. The same goes for dancing. Like I did it for a while, and yes, I'm probably a better dancer than 90% of men out there that have never danced, but like I always compare myself to actual dancers, and I never thought it was good enough. So like there is a couple of videos on YouTube, if you put the time into looking into it, like of me dancing, which I can't look at. It's too cringy for me. No, I can't do it.
You gotta throw them in the show notes.
Absolutely no, can't do it. But yeah, no.
Maybe for the email subscribers.
Maybe, just maybe. If you're a real good subscriber, then maybe we can do that. Yeah, that's me. But you were selling wine at some point,
dude.
And you were up in Vermont, and I realized when we prepped for this episode that I don't actually fucking know. Like you're Puerto Rican, Dominican.
Yes, mainly.
But mainly, huh?
Yeah. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, Spanish, and a little bit of Taino Indian as well. A lot of that comes from my mom's side. But yeah,
man, that family was all about blending the lines a little bit. No, it's like no, you're too much of the same. I want some diff.
Yeah.
Okay. No, tell me a little bit. Tell me the thing.
You want kind of the same thing, like a rundown of
Dan 101 cover text.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you said that I align with. I'm not gonna give you like the full breakdown, but a lot of what you said, you know, I had a lot of friends. I feel like in high school I was friends with everybody. I had, I played football. I was friends with like the drama kids, friends with, really smart kids who got their grades done. I was friends with the kids who would go and smoke cigarettes after class. I really made a point to like try to know everybody and be in with everybody. But at the same time, there was a little bit of like I felt like a social chameleon where I could blend and fit into where I needed to be. And it was like, you're friends with everybody, you know everybody, but you're kind of like, I don't know, who are my real people? Who am I going to talk to if I'm like, going through a tough time? So it was like, interesting there. So I felt that, and I think there was. You also said that you were different Marcels depending on who you were with or who you were around. Definitely align with that as well. As in high school and even in like middle school and high school, I was bouncing around between like theater, sports, martial arts, and just like a bunch of different things, trying to find myself. Of
course.
Always was
see
a little.
What you like too. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Definitely insecure growing up. I was a little bit of a heavier kid, and a lot of my friends, not a lot of my friends, just a couple would make fun of me for that and stuff. So I think that was always like going on in the back of my head of like, all right, no one's gonna like me because I'm not attractive, so I've got to grow a personality and make them like me because I'm funny, or I have to be the guy to get a laugh. Or make sure that I can beat people to the punch. I beat you to the punch. But before you make fun of me, I'm going to make fun of myself, and it'll make you laugh. So we know where we stand.
So we have a door opening into the self-deprecative.
Absolutely, that is like my MO. Like anytime I can just that. Okay. So anyway, before without getting too far into that, I went to college at the University of Vermont. At that time, I thought I was going to be pre-med. I was like, your whole family's like, you're going to be a doctor. And I was like, yes, mama and papa, I'm going to be a doctor. And then I got to like chemistry and was like, this fucking sucks. Hard, very hard.
Don't like any of it.
Dude, so hard. Like, and I was doing well. Like, I love biology, love geeking out about, biohacking and science and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, that still really intrigues me. I just don't think I liked it enough to want to devote time to like be in a lab and study and do the whole, pipetting into centrifuge stuff. Like that's just not my cup of tea. So I switched my majors to business. I majored in business with 2 concentrations in marketing and entrepreneurship and minor in Spanish because I understand it pretty well and needed the grade boost because I was on academic probation for the first couple of years.
So not so great with the grades.
Yeah, nuts. I mean, I was when I wanted to be, but I definitely cannot be when I don't want to be. So we could talk about that at a later time as well. I forgot that even was a thing. Graduated and took basically the first job that I was offered, which was a wine salesman gig for a small company. So that was the first job.
You went in expecting to become a doctor, and you came out a wine salesman.
Yeah, well, I came out.
How hard did your parents cry?
Oh, they were like, you don't want to be a doctor anymore? And I was like, no, mama, no, papa, I don't want to be a doctor anymore.
Okay.
No, they were fine. I think as long as I had a vision and like a place I was going, and like wasn't like I'm just gonna, grow peppers and.
No, you don't strike me as the person who grew up with unsupportive parents. So
super supportive. At the same time, very much wanted to make sure that I was getting my shit done and have it figured out. So I'm like, they wouldn't want me to be like a transient. So took the first job that was offered to me. Moved. I was actually in Connecticut for a little bit, sleeping on a friend's floor on a mattress pad for like 8 months to save money. Yeah. And then finally saved enough money to get my own room in that apartment. And then shortly after, we moved to Brooklyn. And I've been in Brooklyn since, I think, 2017. Which is basically just driving around selling wine out of my car.
How the fuck did you make the leap from that to all the things you do now?
Well, so my sister also works in production. And when I was getting ready to move to the city, she started working on a small independent show that is now on Amazon Prime. It's like a kid show.
Okay.
And she was like, look, we are strapped for actors. I used to do theater growing up. I was like a big theater person.
Yeah, right.
She's like, you should audition for this role of Prince Charming in this, kid show because we need somebody. And I was like, all right. So I auditioned, somehow got the part, and it was my first time really acting in front of a camera. And I realized at that point, I was like, this is so much fun. Like, I love this. I want to do this more. So that became sort of like in the back of my head that was going on. When I moved to the city, I was like,
so 2017.
I want
with acting, it kind of like.
Yeah, I was like, this feels good. I want to do more of this. So I moved to the city. I was like, I got to figure out how to do this. So and if the guys from Pump House are listening, I'm so sorry. After like a year and a half, I started just lying about where I was. I would be like, you know, I would
This is a very public.
yeah, I would be, you know, I'd be applying on backstage.com, actorsaccess.com, trying to find anything that if you needed an actor or a model, I'm trying to throw my name in there because I want to do that more of that stuff. I don't know, you know, I don't care what the pay is. I just need to get my reps in and do more.
Yeah, fuck it.
So every audition or you know, shoot or whatever, I would just, you know, I'd tell like, oh, I'm going to see you know, so-and-so account in Brooklyn or whatever, so I'm going to be there from like 3 to 5, and then I would go fucking, you know, drive to the set and just like do a shoot. And I know that my boss at the time, he definitely knew. He's like, I know you're fucking around. He's like, you can't. He's like, I know what you do. Like, you know, he's like, just get your work done. Which I love the man so much for being able to do that. But that was basically what gave me the freedom to slowly start building a list of credentials and things that I'd done, get my reps in, being in front of a camera. I was able to book a couple commercials, and then 2020 happened. And for a long time, I was like, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to go creative full time. It's something I need to do. Really started to get unhappy and was like, I need to get out and just need to really give this my all. Quit in January of 2020. And then by March, obviously, the pandemic happened.
Great timing.
Yeah, awesome. February was so tight. And then March happened. I was like, what do you mean everyone's sick? Like, that's dumb.
Yeah. Not cool.
Not that cool. Chill. Not very cash money. But this is the longest story ever.
I'm glad you're keeping it brief, though.
Yeah. Long story longer. Our buddy Nick was getting ready to move back to LA. Right. He's like, and at that time we had just started shooting content. So I was like, you should keep doing this. Buy my old camera. Because he wouldn't just give it to me, you know? Like, God forbid he just does something nice for me. Just kidding. Love you, Nick. I buy his old camera. I buy a lens. I basically take the entirety of the year of 2020, going into 2021, learning how to use it, shoot, DMing 20, 30 brands a day, being like, hey, I like your stuff. Let me just shoot photo for you, you know, for T-shirts or sneakers or whatever. Right. And then, you know, one thing led to another, and that's kind of how I got more into being more in the content acting space. It was like a long time of kind of living a dual life and living in a web of lies, and and now I'm on the other side.
Fake it till you make it, baby. Absolutely. And you absolutely did. You're missing one integral part though to who you are, and that is dude, you fucking suck, man. You fucking suck.
I'm trying, dude.
Like like, bro. What? Music.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't know if that's what you were talking about. Yes. I've been doing music. I've been making music for as long as I can remember.
Probably one of the reasons that you were on academic probation at some point. Smoking weed and making music.
Definitely because of weed, but definitely weed and music. Yeah, dude. I love music. I've been making music for as long as I can remember, since I started seeing other people doing it and having fun with it, and it's something I really enjoy. I used to be part of the worship team at my church, so I got an early look at what singing in front of people was, and doing rehearsals and just, I don't know, performing in front of people, and fell in love with poetry and listening to artists tell stories, and just like really got into rap and hip hop and just a bunch of different genres. And I think from like late elementary school on, it's always been like a thread of like, I really, really love making music. So even, you know, through college, through my early times of, you know, living in the city and whatever, that's always been something that I'm like, okay, I want to make songs.
So everything else you kind of stumbled into more so, but that's like the one thing that like early on chose you.
Yeah, I feel like that's like always been something that I'm like, you know, even if I never make it, you know, it's never like my huge success, I'm always going to want to do it just for me, you know, because I love having fun with it. It's just fun as hell, man. It's awesome, yeah.
Kind of like what we're doing here, right?
Absolutely.
When you enjoy the trying bit, then you know you're on the right path of something, right? Because if no one listens to this and or watches this, if you're on YouTube, I apologize for the overexposed wide shot, because I'm just noticing that. We're still getting used to this.
We're trying, dude.
We're trying. This is episode 1 / the second one we shot. But I'm hoping that you guys got a good idea, and we each. I definitely know more about you than I.
Bird's eye view of who we are, and I'm excited as we continue to go, learning more about. like there's so many stories. I'm sure. that you've
Exactly.
got.
I feel like the overview is like it's needed, but it's not as fun as like the diving deeper into
Yeah.
individual stories that actually like show how we became who we are.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to diving more into that. I feel
yeah.
like there's something in
Dude,
your head right
there's
now.
so much going on in my head right now. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Remind me. Yeah. I can. While we're speaking of things that we probably shouldn't say publicly, how I got out of military service in Germany is like, I said I was gay, and I had to talk to a therapist about it for 1.5 hours. What? Let me elaborate another time.
And they were
But,
like,
"There's
yeah, you're good. Get out. We don't want.
Like,
we don't want you. We don't want you holding the gun.
I walked in. They're like, way too well dressed.
Marcel.
Sounds gay.
All right. Well, I see you wore your blue Tims.
Definitely acts straight. Weird, but straight. Does he think he's black? Like, definitely wished I was black when I was a teenager. Many fun things we'll get into down the line.
Hell yeah.
But I think we're around. I think we probably went over a little bit of what we wanted to do. But
No, dude, we're trying. It's all good.
We're trying.
Episode 2 is gonna be a blast.
yeah, I'm hoping that we didn't lose any and or all of you on the first one. Excited for this to grow.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
excited to have another conversation in a little bit. And thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for following along.
Thanks for watching.
If you found it fun, tell us. And if there's stuff you want us to cover, let us know.
And if you didn't find it fun, let us know what you didn't find fun.
Yeah.
Because fuck it, we're gonna do what we want to do.
This
So
is
if you
all. This
don't
is
like
all just a test run. You know,
if
we're
you
having.
don't like this, then fucking don't listen to it.
We're having fun
That's
with
okay.
it. I mean, look, as we go, I think what Marcel's trying to say.
It'll be a thing.
As we go, chime in. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, anything you want to see or want to learn about. I thrive off that stuff.
Yes,
Love
we
it.
can teach you how to kiss.
Hell,
Yeah.
yeah. Visual demonstration on how to kiss.
Love ya. Don't know ya, but we love ya.
Much love,
We'll
babies.
probably love some of you and know some of you.
Yeah,
We'll probably
hopefully.
know a lot of you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See you in the next one.
See ya. We're trying. Bye.